I woke up on Thanksgiving morning to an empty house. My son had left with his family for a luxury trip without me. How could my own family do this? Felt something wrong. Silence everywhere. The kind that pressed against my eardrums and made my chest tight. Our house was never quiet on Thanksgiving. By 7, my daughter-in-law Vanessa would be clanging pots in the kitchen, complaining about the oven temperature. My son Derek would have the television blaring with football pregame shows. The twins, Sophie and Max, would be racing down the hallway, their little feet pounding the hardwood floors like drums. But that morning nothing. Just the hum of the refrigerator and my own breathing. I sat up slowly, my joints protesting as they always did these days. At 71, my body woke up before my mind did, aching in places I didn't know could ache. I called out, my voice sounding strange and small in the emptiness. Derek. Vanessa. No answer came back. I swung my legs over the side of the bed, my bare feet finding the cold floor. Something was deeply, terribly wrong. I pulled on my robe and shuffled into the hallway, my heart beating faster with each step. The guest room where the twins usually slept stood open, the beds perfectly made with hospital corners. They hadn't been slept in at all. Vanessa's makeup bag wasn't on the bathroom counter. Derek's phone charger wasn't plugged into the outlet by the nightstand. I moved faster now, ignoring the protest in my knees as I hurried downstairs. The living room looked untouched, like a furniture showroom. No toys scattered across the carpet, no juice boxes on the coffee table, no little shoes kicked off by the door. In the kitchen, the counters were bare and spotless. No turkey thawing in the sink. No ingredients lined up for stuffing, no pie crusts waiting to be filled. Just clean, empty surfaces that reflected the overhead light. The calendar hanging by the refrigerator caught my eye. Today's date was circled in red ink, but a thick line had been drawn through it. Someone had crossed out Thanksgiving. My hands shook as I grabbed my phone from the kitchen counter. No missed calls. No text messages explaining where everyone had gone. I opened my contacts and scrolled to Derek's name, my finger hovering over the call button. Then I saw it. A notification from FaceSpace, the social media app Vanessa was always using. I rarely checked mine, but something made me tap the icon now. The first post on my feed froze me in place. It was Vanessa, posted 2 hours ago. She stood on a white sand beach, with crystal blue water behind her, wearing a new sundress I'd never seen. Derek had his arm around her waist, grinning like he'd won the lottery. Sophie and Max were building a sandcastle at their feet, their faces glowing with excitement. The caption read, "Finally getting the real family holiday we deserve. Paradise with my people." My vision blurred. I zoomed in on the photo, my heart hammering against my ribs. There, in the corner of the image, was the bright blue suitcase. The one I'd bought for Max's birthday last month. My handwriting was still visible on the luggage tag. I sank into a kitchen chair, my legs suddenly unable to hold me up. They hadn't forgotten about Thanksgiving. They had planned this. Planned to leave me behind without a word, without an explanation, without even the decency of a phone call. I scrolled through more photos. Derek holding a tropical drink with a little umbrella in it. The twins splashing in an infinity pool. Vanessa posing in front of a luxury resort sign that read, "Sunset Paradise Resort and Spa." Each photo felt like a slap across my face. I zoomed in on another image and my breath caught. Sophie was wearing the matching outfit, the one I'd bought her 2 weeks ago. The one with the little turkeys embroidered on the collar, specifically for Thanksgiving. Max had on his matching shirt too. They had taken my gifts, my money, my love, and left me sitting alone in an empty house, on the one day that was supposed to be about family. They didn't forget me. They deliberately excluded me. A sharp knock on the door made me jump. I wiped my eyes quickly and went to answer it, trying to compose my face into something normal. My neighbor Patricia stood on the porch, holding a covered dish and wearing a concerned expression. "Helen, I thought you'd left with them," she said, peering past me into the house. "I saw Derek loading suitcases into his car yesterday morning. I assumed you were going together." My throat felt too tight to speak. Patricia shifted the dish in her hands, looking uncomfortable. "Are you all right? You look pale." I managed to nod, but she wasn't convinced. She lowered her voice, glancing toward her own house, as if checking whether anyone could hear. "Helen, I need to tell you something. Yesterday at the grocery store, I was in the next aisle over from Vanessa. She was on the phone with someone, and I heard her say." Patricia hesitated, her face flushing. "She said you would ruin the aesthetic of their vacation photos." She said it exactly like that. The aesthetic. The words hit me like cold water. Patricia kept talking, her words tumbling out in a rush now that she'd started. "I'm sorry, Helen. I debated whether to tell you, but after seeing you here alone, thought you should know." She also said something about not wanting to deal with your comments about spending. I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but she was talking so loud. I thanked Patricia numbly and took the casserole dish she offered, though I couldn't imagine eating anything. After she left, I stood in the doorway, staring at nothing. The aesthetic. Like I was a worn piece of furniture that didn't match their perfect, curated life. I set the dish on the counter and went to my purse, a sudden cold dread flooding through me. I dumped the contents onto the kitchen table. Wallet, keys, tissues, reading glasses, shopping list, breath mints. But no bank card. My primary checking account card was missing. I always kept it in the zippered compartment, always in the same place. My hands fumbled with my phone, opening the banking app with shaking fingers. The screen loaded slowly, each second stretching into an eternity. Then I saw the balance and my stomach dropped. The account was nearly empty. Transactions scrolled down the screen like accusations. Airport boutique, $417. Duty-free shop, $892. Luxury resort booking, $5,300. Private island excursion package, $3,200. Restaurant charge, $612. Spa services, $1,045. The list went on and on. All the charges were from this morning, starting at 6 a.m. They must have left the house before dawn, using my card to fund their entire vacation, while I slept upstairs, completely unaware. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Click the notification bell. Thanks so much for watching. I called the bank immediately, my voice shaking as I explained the situation to the customer service agent. "Ma'am, I'm showing that your son Derek Morrison was added as an authorized user on this account 7 months ago," the woman said, her tone carefully professional. "Do you recall approving this?" I did not. I had never approved it. "Could you send me a copy of the authorization form?" "Yes. Of course. I'm emailing it now." The form arrived seconds later. There at the bottom was my signature, clear and confident. Except it wasn't my signature. Someone had forged it. Someone had practiced my handwriting, carefully enough to fool a bank. I abandoned the phone on the table and rushed to my home office, a small room off the living room, where I kept important papers and paid bills. The filing cabinet drawer stuck as I yanked it open, papers spilling onto the floor in my haste. I dropped to my knees and started sorting through everything, looking for bank correspondence. Beneath a pile of grocery store coupons and expired warranty cards, I found it. An envelope from First National Bank, postmarked 6 months ago. The letter inside confirmed the addition of Derek Morrison as an authorized user to account ending in 7423. The envelope had been opened carefully, the flap tucked back inside. I never opened mail like that. I always tore envelopes across the top. Someone else had opened this. Someone who wanted to see what was inside without me knowing. I kept digging, my hands moving faster now, throwing aside old utility bills and insurance statements. Then I found another envelope, this one from my health insurance company. The letter was dated 4 months ago, confirming updates to my emergency contact information. My son Derek had been listed as primary contact. But below that, a new name appeared as secondary contact, Warren Fletcher, Vanessa's brother. A man I'd met exactly twice. They had replaced me with a stranger. I sat on the office floor, surrounded by scattered papers, the truth settling over me like a heavy blanket. This wasn't sudden. This wasn't impulsive. They had been planning this for months, slowly moving me out of my own life. Removing me from accounts, changing emergency contacts, forging documents, all while smiling to my face, and accepting my money for birthday presents, and school supplies, and family dinners. My phone buzzed on the desk above me. I pulled myself up, using the edge of the chair, and grabbed it. A message from Vanessa appeared on the screen. "Hey Helen. Hope you don't mind, we decided to do our thing this year. You need rest anyway. Enjoy the quiet." She'd added a heart emoji at the end, like that made everything fine. A second message followed immediately. "Please don't call us. We really want quality family time. You understand. Quality family time. Without the person who had sacrificed everything to raise Derek. Without the grandmother who babysat every weekend. Without the woman who paid for their car repairs and helped with their mortgage when Derek lost his job last year. I understood perfectly. They wanted my money but not my presence. I walked slowly upstairs to the guest room, each step feeling heavier than the last. The room smelled faintly of Sophie's strawberry shampoo and Max's bubble gum toothpaste. On the wall above the dresser was a corkboard where I'd always displayed the twins' artwork. They loved bringing me their drawings, their faces shining with pride as I pinned each one up. I'd kept every picture they'd ever made for me. But now the corkboard was empty. Just the tacks remained, pushed into the cork in even rows. The papers were gone. Someone had taken them down, deliberately removing every trace of my grandchildren from my house. I checked the small bookshelf in the corner, where I kept toys for when they visited. Half the shelf was empty. The expensive building blocks were gone. The remote control car I'd bought Max for his birthday, missing. Sophie's collection of stuffed animals, vanished. They had gone through my house like thieves, taking everything they wanted and leaving me with the cheap, broken things they didn't need. I sat on the edge of the bed, my vision blurring with tears I'd been holding back all morning. I let myself cry for exactly 10 minutes. Then I stopped, wiped my face with the back of my hand, and made a decision. If they wanted a life without me, I would give them exactly that. But on my terms, not theirs. I went back to my office and opened my laptop, waiting for it to boot up with aching patience. First, I logged into the electric company website. Our house was in my name, but Derek had asked me last year to add him to the account so he could help manage things when I got older. I'd agreed, foolishly believing he wanted to help. I removed his name with 3 clicks. Next, the water bill, the internet service, the cable subscription, the family cell phone plan, where I'd been paying for his and Vanessa's phones for the past 5 years. One by one, I erased him from every account. Within an hour, Derek Morrison existed nowhere in my utility life. He would find out soon enough, when his phone stopped working and he couldn't call for help. The thought made me smile grimly. I picked up my phone and dialed a number I'd hoped never to use. "Wellington Law Office, this is Bryce speaking." Hello, Bryce. This is Helen Morrison. I need to schedule an emergency appointment with attorney James Wellington. Today, if possible. James Wellington had been our family lawyer for 20 years. He'd handled my late husband's will and helped us with property documents when we bought this house. He was expensive, thorough, and most importantly, loyal to whoever paid his fee. Helen, it's good to hear from you, James said when Bryce transferred my call. Though emergency appointments usually mean trouble. What's going on? I explained everything in a calm, clear voice. The abandoned Thanksgiving, the forged bank documents, the stolen money, the manipulative messages. James listened without interrupting, making occasional humming sounds that told me he was taking notes. I want to change my will immediately, I finished. Everything. The house, the savings accounts, the life insurance policies, all of it. What did you have in mind? James asked carefully. There's a community center downtown, where I volunteered twice a week. They run programs for underprivileged children, teaching art and music and providing meals. I want everything to go there. Not a single dollar to Derek. The line went quiet for a moment. Helen, I need to make sure you understand what you're doing. This is your only child. Once we file these changes, they're very difficult to reverse. I understand perfectly, I said. Can you see me today? Come by at 3. While printing bank statements and gathering documents for my appointment with James, I found something else in my filing cabinet. A loan application from First National Bank, dated 3 weeks ago. The applicant was Derek Morrison. The purpose? Business startup capital. The amount requested, $250,000. Listed under collateral was my property address. My house. The house I'd lived in for 37 years. The house where I'd raised Derek. Where my late husband had died peacefully in our bedroom, where every floorboard and wall held memories. Derek had tried to use my home as collateral for a business loan without asking permission, without even mentioning he was starting a business. I called the bank again, asked for the business loan department, and was transferred to a man named Felix. I'm calling about a loan application submitted by Derek Morrison, I said, reading him the application number. I own the property he listed as collateral, and I'm calling to formally revoke any potential approval. That property is not available for collateral use of any kind. Felix sounded surprised. Ma'am, we actually have Mr. Morrison scheduled to come in Monday morning to finalize the paperwork. The loan was preliminarily approved, pending the collateral verification. Then I suggest you cancel that appointment, I said firmly. He has no authorization to use my property. If he shows up Monday, you call the police. Yes, ma'am. I'll flag the account immediately. After I hung up, I sat very still, processing what I just learned. Derek's entire business plan, whatever it was, had been built on the assumption that my house would be his someday. He'd been so confident, so certain of his inheritance, that he'd already started spending money that wasn't his. The loan would have been approved Monday. In 3 days, he would have had $250,000, my house would have been tied up in debt, and I would have known nothing until it was too late. My phone rang, startling me. My sister Virginia's name appeared on the screen. Helen, thank God you answered, Virginia said, her voice tense. I need to tell you something, and you're not going to like it. I'm having that kind of day, I said. What is it? I was talking to Cousin Ruth last night. She mentioned she'd heard from someone at church that Derek and Vanessa have been telling people, you're becoming senile. They're saying you're forgetful, confused, that you repeat yourself constantly, and can't manage your own affairs anymore. My grip tightened on the phone. They're what? Ruth said Vanessa told her entire book club that you've been showing signs of dementia. They're laying groundwork, Helen. Building a narrative, so that when they eventually cut you off completely, everyone will think it's for your own good. Closed my eyes. Thank you for telling me. What are you going to do? Virginia asked. I don't know yet, I lied. I'll call you later. Dear viewers, what do you think about this story? What are you expecting would happen next? What are you curious about in the story? How do you think the story is going to end? What would you do if you were Helen? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section. Your views matter. If you have been touched by this story, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who needs to learn from it. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Click the notification bell to be updated with the remaining part of this story. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, you're worth the love that respects you, that values you, and never makes you feel like you need their permission to exist. Stay blessed. See you tomorrow for the rest of the story.